Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. How you guys doing? Welcome in. Forgot one thing. Again. I guess it wasn't even on. That's okay. Just a little hot in here. That's all right. What's going on, y'all? Anita, Cindy G, Majesty, Robin Bliss, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Karma Chameleon, Mocked, Kathleen, Layla Bradley. I'm feeling a lot better. Although I will say I woke up and my throat did hurt something fierce. So I'm not going to overdo it again today, but I'm feeling a million times better. I'm not sore all over. My head's not congested. I do have a little bit of a runny snot situation, and I do have a little bit of a throat thing going on. So I know I'm not out of the woods yet, but I'm definitely, the nose has been pulled up. So we're going to keep heading in the direction we're heading. Also, I stashed some coffee in the way back of the cabinet for a rainy day. Forgot about it. So I'm having coffee today, which is fantastic. It's been a while. It's very hot. Swiss Vape, what's going on, dude? Been a long time, man. Hope everything's going well for you. Happy Sunday, man. I guess Sundays are kind of when we get together, though. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. That's cool. I'm going to look forward to it moving forward. Narcoleptic Chihuahua, hello, Kim, Robin Miners, Joanne. What's going on, guys? Jane, Diane. Mighty fine. Well, that's good to hear. Today, I didn't have a plan, but there's still a ton of this paper to read. So I was reading through it this morning. Joanne Adams says, "Good morning from London. You do make me smile." Well, that makes me happy. I'm happy to make you smile. You guys make me smile. So there's that. It's a mutual feeling. I was reading some more of this paper that we've been talking about back and forth, although I really haven't given it the 100%. I've just been kind of passively reading through it now and again. The next section, I guess previously we left off with who has the authority to define recovery at a personal, professional, and cultural level, which I thought was an interesting question. And for those that weren't there, or just for a refresher, the answer to that, who has the authority to define recovery, will vary depending on the question. Define for what purpose? I think that's where we stopped, actually. It's talking about far-reaching consequences. Having a broad representation can alienate the minority, which means if you have a broad definition, then people that fall into niches are going to be left out, right? That makes sense, I think. Bobby Jean, what's going on? Got the headphones in today because it was a colorful morning, audio-wise, from all my navies. I will say, before I get farther into this, my new neighbor that moved in, who's like my age and seems like a really cool guy, he's a redhead. We're gonna get along just fine. He knocked on my door the other day, and it was like mid-afternoon. The sun was coming in the blinds, I remember, and I was napping. I was like in my room, but I heard the knock, and I was like, I wonder who that is. Maybe it's my dad, which my dad had already been here that day. So I went to check, and I seen him through the peephole, and I was like, I'm just not going to answer the door because I'm sick and I'm napping. So I like turned around and walked back to my bedroom, but I'm like pretty sure that he noticed me do that. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I should probably go say what's up when I feel better. So he doesn't think I'm ignoring him, or he doesn't think you know what I mean? Which that's probably just in my head. He probably gets it, right? Mid-afternoon nap. He definitely hears me coughing. So, but I'm excited to make friends and kind of hang out with my neighbor, my new neighbor, which is cool. We had an interaction that wasn't an interaction. But yeah, defining recovery always has consequences of great import for those competing institutions and professional roles claiming ownership of alcohol and drug problems. So what that's saying is, again, like I was saying before, broad definitions alienates the niches. What this is saying is that like rehabs healthcare professionals, hospitals, people that are dealing with these issues, claiming ownership, right? People that their profession is to deal with this stuff. Ba, 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 ba. Defining recovery is going to have consequences for them, right? Let's say we, depending on the words that we use, and there's, if I dig into this enough, there's examples of this. But if we, depending on the words we use and how we define recovery, we could be pushing all of the responsibility into the private sector like prisons and whatnot, right? We could be pushing all of the responsibility into medical professionals' hands depending on how we understand and how we view this thing. Honestly, in my opinion, I think the people that are the most equipped to deal with this stuff is addicts themselves. And again, at the very beginning of this paper, in the very, very first section, that was something that Mr. William White mentioned, is that people that have been involved with this recovery process, this addiction thing, alcohol and drug problems, AOD stuff is how he abbreviates it. Those are the people that are most likely to understand how to move forward, right? Especially those that have had a modicum of success, right? Robin Miners asks, "Did you not get the new box of coffee?" I have not yet, but I know it's waiting for me. So don't worry. I've set my sights upon it, but I couldn't wait any longer. When I'm beholden to others for transportation, it's a good thing that I had coffee stashed. Although I will say, I've said this before, but I think it's for real this time. I might actually be able to get this bicycle fixed up, bicycle scooter, with this next round of paycheck. Pretty excited about that. Imagine me rolling around on a Vespa with a helmet on. Claire Bear asks, "Is addiction mostly from parents or family?" It's definitely a genetic thing, 100% scientifically proven. And in fact, we have understood this for a while as I mean, I guess medicine has proved this a long time ago. So yes, it is very, very much from parents or family, but that's not the only it's not the only thing to consider. If it's in your family, right? If you have alcoholics, drug addicts, gamblers, video gamers in your and I mean just because you're playing video games for like let me just say this or just because you're gambling doesn't mean you're an addict, right? But if you have addictive behavior in your family, it's definitely worth noting. And I have to say for myself, even knowing, even being surrounded by addiction growing up, I always said that's not me. I'm not defined by my parents, right? This, that, and the other. But I have to say I definitely had to admit to myself one day, I was like, well, I'm definitely out of control. I definitely can't stop. So what does that say? I have to, I think coming to my own conclusions by doing my own research, aka screwing up, going out there and drinking and drugging, right? I think that needed to happen. Otherwise, I don't think I could have admitted it to myself somehow. You know what I mean? Claire Bear also continues to say, "I never drink because my grandparents did a lot." And maybe that's a healthy decision. If you don't engage, you won't ever have to find out, right? And on the other hand, maybe you're not, right? But you're saying you never drink. You're not missing out on anything, I promise. I tell you what, it is amazing I had that realization. And you know what? I often forget. I was thinking, I was going through my journal the other day and like really digging up old stuff just to like remind myself how far I've come. And when alcohol hits my lips, it's like a sunrise happening on my chest, just blah, just like the coolest feeling. It's not normal. That's not how normal people feel when they have a drink. But it feels like I'm ascending into heaven. It feels like the most amazing thing when I have some alcohol. And you know what? When you ingest alcohol, it takes a little while to get into your bloodstream. It's not a so there's something wrong with my brain. It's a definite difference. And I'm not suggesting you go do research. I'm not suggesting you go find out. But it's just worth noting that's my experience, and I have heard this experience from other alcoholics as well. When we drink, it's a little bit different. We're not just having a libation. We're having a sunset in our brain. It's just blah, the clouds part, the angels sing. It's a crazy thing that happens when I have a drink, and that's not what happens to normal people. So definitely worth noting. I'm different. I'm not saying I'm unique. I'm definitely not unique. There's a lot of me out there. Bobby Jean says people in my family have died from cirrhosis. I would have to say it runs in your family. I could be wrong. I have been wrong many times. But I would have to say, there's probably some genetic predisposition to alcohol consumption and or addiction, Bobby Jean. Claire Bear says, I have a few drinks a year. I don't think I got the gene. Thank God. Well, that's good. I mean, a few drinks a year is definitely not even casual drinking. Like that's even, you know what I mean? You're not even a drinker at that point. You just have a drink now and again, eh? It's all right. Again, I don't think we've said this in a while on this channel. We're not an anti-drug channel. We're an anti-addiction channel, right? I don't care what you do. I honestly don't care if you're in active addiction. If you are, you probably need to be here. You feel me? So I'm not judging anyone. I feel good today, though. I tell you what, my throat hurts, but I feel really good. Cognitive. If my brain was an engine and all the pistons are firing, it's timed properly. I don't know, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I wasn't necessarily thinking of your name. This is something I used to say back in the day to try and describe the feeling that I have when I drink, because it's not like it sounds like a dramatization, but it's literally what it feels like. The most amazing thing. I don't have words to describe what it feels like, and that's just the closest thing I can. I like sunrises a lot, so that's the closest wording that I can use. So I guess it's a good thing because in my mind, a sunrise is one of the most amazing things. So I think that's good. Lisa Sami says, "Is this guy a doctor? I am not. I'm not a licensed professional. I'm just a guy that's lived a life. I'm just an addict that's recovering. I have no certificates, no degrees. I guess I went to the college of badassery. Just kidding. I went to the school of hard knocks, I guess." Andrew B, what's going on? James Collins, Kristen, Melinda, love you guys. Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome home. Been struggling hard lately. Luckily, as Tommy says, our favorite party favor no longer exists. Puts me in a strange spot when I get like this. I tell you what, I can't imagine. I could create my drug of choice if I wanted to. So I definitely I cannot relate with this, but I'm glad you're here, man. And you know what? Let's get some ones up for anyone out there that's struggling today. How about that, guys? Anyone out there that needs a little extra help, needs a little extra more, a little something, and especially for Andrew B, our very own. Claire Bear asks, "Would you ever work in addiction studies?" Absolutely. I have never considered it until one of my crew suggested it. I think 2 days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. The days kind of blend together sometimes, but somebody suggested that. I think it was Kristen, Melinda, actually. I don't mean to put you on blast, but you do have great suggestions and wonderful things to say. But yeah, I would super be into that. It's just, there's a lot that goes into making that real for myself, right? Going to school, figuring out exactly what path I'm going to walk and then walking it. I guess when I put it that way, it seems pretty simple, but I'm sure there's lots of details that go into it. But definitely something I've been thinking about. I don't think that I can just do this. I think I need to do more with my life, which, I'm not saying that this isn't enough. Or I guess I am saying that. I'm not trying to judge the value of what we're doing here at all. I think it's amazing. I think it's necessary for me. But I also think it's necessary that I do more than this. So maybe that is what I do. Who knows? I don't know yet. I still feel like I'm just discovering who I am. I spent the majority of my life, I'm 32 years old. I spent more than 15 years um, running away from who I am and drowning out how I feel. So I'm just finding out who I am. So I'm not entirely sure yet, but that definitely sounds exciting. It sounds like something I'm passionate about. And honestly, my experience in that industry has been abhorrent. So it's something that I can strive to better. I can make a difference, right, in that arena, I think, or at least I want to. So that's enough for me. I think it's great. What's going on, Jeremy? Good morning. A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Claire Bear goes on to say, "I went through a lot of addiction studies classes in college. However, it was difficult as a non-addict, which I understand. I feel like you would be great at it. This is I love that you say this because I say this all the time. It's so hard, if not impossible, for someone that doesn't experience addiction or hasn't experienced addiction to understand addiction. It just doesn't make sense, right? Why don't you stop? Like that thought process, I understand because I that's how I thought until I couldn't stop. And also feel like it's a common sentiment for people that are not addicts to think, it's just a willpower thing or whatever. But obviously, as time goes on, society is proving by experience and example that that's not quite the case. It's not a willpower thing. It's actually a disease. Something different's happening in my brain, than in your brain when I have a drink. Krista Melinda says that's actually what made me want to be a counselor. I had a bad experience with one as a kid, then I had a better one later. I wanted to add to the good ones. I tell you what, there's nothing quite as motivating as having a bad experience. You know what I mean? Whether you're getting motivated to change your scenery, right? Change the people in your environment, whatever it is, having a terrible experience definitely motivates you to not have that experience again, right? And sometimes, if we're lucky, it can motivate us to make a difference in the world around us. Join the Lifebook Facebook, y'all. Also, the Discord. I'm not on the Discord a ton, but I do see on my notifications that there's activity on that sucker. So definitely check us out if you're trying to connect. If you don't have people that you can call when you're in trouble, I would suggest getting involved with our community here because that's one of the necessary tools for recovery, in my opinion. Gamer Jackie, what's going on? I saw you in the comments yesterday. I gave you a shout out. It's good to see you. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm definitely on the up and up. My throat still hurts, so I'm going to go a little longer, but then we're probably going to sign off early again. That's okay. Joe Mama, what's going on? Who's a Drake fan, Lisa? Canadian. I gotta message Izzy back. I keep forgetting to do that. Son of a gun. She's gonna start to think that I don't care. She wouldn't think that, would she? Let's see if there's any other gems we can get from this paper before. Where's my sidebar? What happened to my sidebar? I really liked the sidebar. Let's see if there's any more gems from this thing. What are the essential defining ingredients of recovery experience? That's not what we were reading. What the heck? Did we skip to a whole nother section? Have you guys? Oh my gosh, this song. Have you guys heard any AI generated music lately? Did you guys know about this thing? AI generated music? I don't know how I discovered this, and I can't really tell you what the song is called because it's dirty, but they have AI generated music now. I feel like Jeremy would get a kick out of this. But if you go on Spotify and check out obscurest vinyls, there's this. It's like old timey music, but it's not a real band. It's just and someone told an AI how to what to do. It came out with the most absurd songs. I would not recommend this to my grandmother, but I would recommend it to Jeremy or my friends. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have said it like that. It makes it sound like Jeremy's like not a. That's not what I'm trying to say. Jeremy's a very upstanding, respectable gentleman. I'm sure. I can see him laughing at this. Anyways, that's right. I was going to find just a gem to leave you off with. Should the term recovery be applied only? What the heck? I definitely lost my place here. The last part of that section says there will likely be multiple efforts to define recovery, and complete consensus, aka all of us agreeing on a recovery definition between all stakeholders in the alcohol and drug problem arena is unlikely. He's saying it's unlikely that we're all going to agree on a definition, right? Which I agree. I mean, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, there's too many hands in the pot. You know what I mean? There's too many people invested, medical professionals, prisons, people that have never experienced addiction. I don't think should have stock in this at all. I think that's destructive. I think that's unproductive. I think it goes against what we're really trying to do. Um, but what can we do about that? I don't think there's a whole lot we can do. However, it may be possible to assure diverse representation in these efforts and to assure that the most critical questions are addressed within these deliberations. I don't think we need diverse representation, first of all. Like maybe diverse representation among addicts. You feel me? Like, but the people that should define this are people that have experienced it. Period. In my opinion. And that's not from the paper, that's from my heart. That's from my brain. I don't think that anyone should have any stake or stock in this when it comes to money or profession or like even passion. I don't care. If you haven't experienced it, I don't think you're qualified to define it. Bar none. But anyways, William White goes on to say, however, it may be possible to assure diverse, blah, 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 blah. We just said that. The recommendations contained in the following discussions are intended to stimulate dialogue and debate within such forums. Cool. All right. We've now gotten through the intro, it seems. About 7 or 8 or 9 paragraphs in, we can start discussing the problem, huh? Should the term recovery be applied only to the resolution of particular types of AOD problems? That's the first section, and we'll probably get into this tomorrow. Ow. Hey Shelly Kelly, what's going on? I think I have to call it, guys. It's starting to the pain level's rising. So I think that's a bad sign. I really enjoyed this episode today. Made me feel good. Hope it made you feel good too. Mock says you should at least have studied the effects on the brain and body, offering an opinion. And you know that I'm glad you say this because now I'm thinking people that have invested themselves in this by going to school out of passion, spent a lot of time on this. I don't think anyone should be telling them you can't, I don't think that's right. So I'm very glad that you said this. Maybe I should amend my earlier statement. I agree. I definitely agree with you, Mocked. Thank you. Gamer Jackie says, I have a good feeling you can accomplish whatever you put your interest to. I think the trick for me is just being interested in stuff. It's so hard. I feel so apathetic. And most of that word is pathetic. So I'm really trying to find some motivation and some drive. And this here is something I care about. I have no problem coming on here every morning. I'm trying to find that feeling in other areas of my life. So keep your fingers crossed. I'm sure that I'm capable. My brain's healing, man. I burnt a lot of holes in it. So, all right, guys, hit that like, subscribe, the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It makes a huge difference. I'm Captain Calhoun. This has been the Lifeboat. I appreciate every single one of you, the mods, the crew, anyone new. You guys are the best. I love you. Yeah, and always remember, don't forget, be kind to yourself. You deserve it, all right? This is Captain Calhoun. I'm out of here.